X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The calling 2.0.
And good evening, everyone. This is Jerry with the Calling 2.0. And hey, tonight, Valentina will not be on with us tonight. I know. She just got back from Maine, where she was watching that house. And she's got like a ton of things happening. She had a little car trouble. So she will be back with us real soon. So tonight I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like looking through, all the people that I've had on the show, and I forgot about Victoria Mundae. And I thought I will ask her. And she swore at me 3 times. It was terrible. No, I'm just kidding. How you doing, Victoria?
It was 4 times. I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Doing pretty good. You look great. Oh, thank you. Of course I do. So what's happening now? You're down in Texas, right?
That's the only place to be.
Well, no, I'll stay in Minnesota. You guys got snakes down there, and you guys got lots of bugs and stuff, and spiders that are huge.
Yeah.
They could carry a man off my size.
We put saddles on them. Yeah, we put them in the rodeo. The competition.
Gotcha.
How long you could stay on the spider. You have to stay on at least 8 seconds.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then there's the Gila monsters. Don't forget those. I found out once I moved, because I moved up to the north part of the state. This is the epicenter of Bigfoot sightings. So.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know there was a lot of Bigfoot sightings up there.
Oh, apparently it's all the rage. All the kids are seeing.
All the kids are like, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know Bigfoot was in Texas until.
Huh.
Actually,
well, now.
There's a Bigfoot conference going on next weekend, I think. It's in northeast Texas.
Oh, yeah. I seen something about that. Somebody wanted me to get into a Bigfoot thing on Facebook. I did, and then when I took a look at all the other people in there, I mean, because I'm kind of harsh on certain stories and stuff. It's got to be at least a little bit believable, and not something that they debunked or they faked a long time ago. And I can't believe these people are like, oh, it's Jerry. Hi, Jerry. That's what they were saying on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Why did I even do this? But I thought, I'm going to stick it out. It's incredible. But anyway.
That was probably me that invited you into the group.
Yeah, kind of. I wasn't going to say anything. But you're dressed up like an old man, which everybody will see the video tomorrow. You're not an old man,
I feel like it sometimes.
That's funny. So do you do
I'm sorry.
Right. Do you go to do a lot of rodeos and stuff?
Not anymore.
You used to?
You mean like be in the rodeo or go to the rodeo?
Wait a minute. You were in the rodeo? You rode horses or something?
No. I did ride horses, but I was never a rodeo.
Oh, okay. That what?
I was never a rodeo participant.
Oh, okay. That kind of blew me away when you said that, because I was like, what? She was in the rodeo? And that's why I had to ask.
No, almost everybody, if you say, yeah, I was in the rodeo, I mean, that's just like a natural thing. You have a belt buckle the size of a turkey platter, And yeah, that's not me.
They are the size of a turkey platter too.
Sure.
When I was a kid, we used to go to rodeos all the time. I used to think they were pretty cool until a bull came out of the chute and broke its leg.
Oh, oh no.
And
Stop
that
that story.
did it right there. Yeah, no, I won't say anymore. That did it right there. And it's like, no, I just can't. Ugh. You know, where my family would go, and I just like, no, I'm gonna stay home.
Oh, it was always fun. We would go because I'm from Houston, and yeah, that's the world's largest rodeo. Or maybe it's the world's largest indoor rodeo. I'm not sure. But they would have the annex filled with all the animals and everything, and you can go see all the bunnies and all the chickens and all the animals on display. And the 4-H kids had all their animals on exhibit, and my daughter was like less than 2, and there was this large stuffed longhorn, and I'm not kidding, it was probably 9 feet tall. I said, oh, you
Oh
could
my God.
they got a little step stool and she could sit up there and take a picture. I'm like, oh, let's do that. That'd be fun. And then, she was sitting up there and the photographer's getting ready. And all of a sudden I saw the animal blink and he moved his head. And I'm like, that thing's alive. Get my daughter off that. She's a baby.
She's a baby.
You
You know,
know,
the biggest one I've ever seen, I think it wasn't that it was that tall. It's just had a rack on it. Its horns from one side to the other. I think they said it measured out at like almost 20 feet.
oh my gosh.
That's
They're huge.
incredible.
They're freaking huge. You could hang your laundry on them to dry. I mean, they're so
Well,
big.
if they'd allow it, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Well, out here, I'm in the country now. So, what happens on Saturday night stays out here,
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you. So, um, you do conventions and stuff?
I do. I'm starting. I have done one several times and now I'm branching out. I'm coming to Michigan next August. That's near you, right? That's outside of Texas.
I'm in Minnesota.
That's near you, right? I'm outside of Texas.
Well, it's like, hop, skip, jump, throw a stone, run for 7 to 10, 12,000 miles. No, it's not too far away and stuff. Where exactly in Michigan?
North.
North
Yeah,
Michigan.
Michigan Paracon. It's in it's up near Canada, I think. At a casino. They just had it this past August. Saint Sweet, Saint Sue, Saint somebody, Saint Marie. Oh, I think there is a Marie in there. Saint Sue Marie? I don't know.
Well, let's take a look here.
It's north. It's the Michigan Paracon in August of 2024.
Yep, got it right here.
Yeah.
Convention, biggest one in Sault Ste. Marie,
Okay.
Michigan, 14th. Wow, okay. I wonder how far that is from me.
It's less than the width of Texas, I can tell you that.
Well, that would be fun to go up there and see you.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to be a vendor, so I'm going to bring my wares and
Your
peddling
wares?
my wares.
Oh, you're pedaling. So you got like a little
I'm
pedaling
peddling my
thing.
wares. Yeah, I've branched out into jewelry and and I haven't told you about this. You'll have to. Sorry, people on the radio, but I have a tea line. It's called Paranormal Activity.
What is that?
It's tea.
It's tea. It's paranormal tea.
Yeah. Well, the name of it's Paranormal Activity.
Oh, actively tea.
Yeah.
And is that something you make or something?
I found a distributor, so there's 4 different flavors. So I package it up and everything and market it, and I take it to the Paracons with me. And there's like a mulled spice, and then there's like a black blackberry tea, and there's a hibiscus tea, and all these different kind of fruit flavors.
Wow. Okay.
Doing something different.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, Sault Ste. Marie keeps coming up. Ontario, Canada.
It's close to Canada, I think. It's at a casino, is where they actually have the Paracon.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that is. How far is that from me? That is, it's computing. Oh, it's only 9 hours and 4 minutes away.
Well, that's not bad.
Well, yeah. When I have a Jeep that breaks down all the time and everything. But no, that would be a lot of fun. That'd be fun to know, because I know some of my friends actually go there and stuff. They're always up in Michigan. I'm going to talk to them and see if they're going. If they are, maybe,
That'd
you
be
know,
fun. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it'd
think
be fun.
I have to be there Thursday through Sunday for vending stuff, but I'm going to go with some friends, and we're renting an Airbnb, so we're going to have a girls' house. Yeah,
Nice. That'll be
It'd be
fun.
yeah, I'll have to leave Toby. I've never left my cat that long, so I have to find someone to take care of him.
Gotcha. Todd in the chat room is saying that there are two cities, same name. It's a border crossing. So, okay, got it. That's pretty cool.
Can we
Jerry,
run over to Canada? I mean, will they let us?
well, you'd have to have your passport with you.
I have it. It's actually right here.
I don't have a passport. You should bring it with you in case you guys decide to go over there. Then you can get arrested for stuff. Arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they
Well,
can just listen to me for 5 minutes and realize, oh, she's Southern.
that's
You can
funny.
excuse her. Just let her go.
So, what kind of wares will you be selling?
Well, I have books. Since we last talked, when was this? 5 years ago? 4
Yep.
years ago?
2019.
That's math. Okay, so that's only 4 years, right?
That's 3-4 years. Yes.
I have a BFA, so I didn't have to take math. I took meteorology. So I put out 11 books.
Wow.
I put a book out 2 weeks ago, I think. It's a coloring book, so you should get it if you like to color. And tells all about tarot cards, and it's some really cool pictures, and you can color and learn about tarot. So I've been doing the books. Well, that didn't sound right. I've been creating books. I haven't been doing the books. Embezzlement, fraud, I don't know. Making some jewelry and some crystal stuff. It's kind of like my pendant. You can fill it with different kinds of stones and stuff, depending on what you're trying to manifest, protection or love or abundance or whatever, depending on what stones you have in there. Make that kind of stuff, and candles and just quirky little things, keychains.
So let's get back to your books for a second. So you've been writing books for like a very long time.
Yeah.
And you finally found someone that is publishing them?
Me, usually.
Oh, okay.
Most of them are self-published, except for this one that I did. It came out in April. It's called My Night in the Most Haunted Hotel in Texas. It's actually published by Beyond the Fray Publishing, which is a publishing house that does specifically paranormal and true crime stories.
Oh, okay. So is that you did experience something in that hotel?
Oh yeah.
What happened? I know you sent it to me. I want to.
Well, at that time I had been laid off from. I worked for an entertainment behemoth, and I was having a difficulty finding a job, and I had tried for months and months and months, and I was really depressed. And my little voice told me one morning, like, just get up and go somewhere. And I'm like, well, okay, where am I going to go? And so my little voice said, you need to go to Jefferson, which is a little bitty town up in East Texas. And I said, well, okay. Because what am I going to do? Sit here and apply for more jobs? So I went online. I found a hotel, and it described all the rooms and stuff, and I didn't want to know anything, so I like to go in blind, see what kind of activity I could get. And so I picked a room. It had a really pretty tall bed and everything, and it was one of the cheaper rooms. And so I said, okay, I'm going to stay in that room. So I drive up to East Texas, which was about 8 hours from where I was living. So, 8 hours is nothing. And so I checked in, and the owner took me up to the room, and he goes, you know about the hotel, right? And I was like, no, I don't really. I didn't want to tell him. My little voice told me to come up here because I would sound like a idiot or something. He's like, oh, okay. So you know about the room you're staying in, right? I'm like, no, I don't know anything about it. He goes, well, it's your most haunted room we have here in the hotel. Well, of course it is. Thank you, little voice. And it was the week before Valentine's Day, and I was kind of depressed and going through a lot of stuff. And he goes, well, we call it the haunted bride's room. I'm like, oh, of course it is. It's the haunted bride's room. Curse you, little voice. So he's showing me around. He's telling me a few things. I'm like, don't tell me anything because I want to see what I can pick up because I'm kind of intuitive and I like doing this kind of thing. And I brought my equipment and I just needed to shake up life a little bit. And so he goes, okay, well, here's my phone number. And if you need anything, just send me a text. My wife and I are going to go to town. Now, town is like 25 miles away. Wait, you're leaving me here? He's like, yeah, don't worry, but nobody's checking in tonight. It's just you. I'm like, wait, I'm here alone? You're leaving me in a haunted hotel? Like, well, this is going to be fun. He's like, yeah, don't worry. We have a lock on the door. Nobody can get in. I'm like, okay, well, can I walk around? He's like, yeah, sure. And they have all these rooms are themed. There's like a clown room and a doll room and a train room and there's a nautical
doll room. Did you lock the door and shut it?
I don't do dolls.
Neither do I.
Weird dolls. Some of them are like 3 or 4 feet high, and some are like Talking Tina. If you remember Talking Tina. Yeah. Okay. I see your face. So it's got
my God.
Dolls hanging from the ceiling upside down, and they're like stuck out of the walls, and I'm like, okay. So he goes, yeah, if you just don't go in the rooms, because they all have these velvet ropes across the rooms. I'm like, okay. He goes, well, you're the only one here. You go in the room. Just don't sit on the bed. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, well, if you sit on the bed, straighten it up. I'm like, okay, I got it. Leave it neat. I got it. So I was walking down the hall, and it was February, so of course I was barefoot, and I was in the boards were great, because it was the hotel was originally a gin mill. That's the right word. A cotton mill, cotton gin. That's it, cotton gin. Because it was right on the river, and then it changed hands, and it was a brothel and a hotel, and it was all these other things. And so I was walking along, and I get down to the doll room. Again, I'm not a fan of these kind of creepy dolls. I like Barbie. So I lean in the room like, hey guys, I'm Victoria. Can I take a picture? Because I wanted to kind of throw them off. I can feel at ease with my friendliness, right? And so they didn't say anything, so I took that as a good sign. So I leaned over the rope and took a couple pictures. Like, good to see you. And so I go off, and I'm about 10 feet from the door, and I hear, I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
Okay, it's got to be motion activated because that it adds to the carnival atmosphere, I guess you could say. And so I went on, and I went down the hall, and I found the hidden staircase that was in an armoire because I'm Southern. Don't leave me by myself because I'm going to be looking in the medicine cabinet. So, I'm opening all the doors, like, hidden staircase. And so, I'm going up the staircase. I'm having a great time, So when the owner gets back, he's like, how you doing? I'm like, oh, having a lot of fun. Hey, your dolls were laughing. Which one's motion we like, no, we don't have any motion activated dolls.
Oh, geez.
Like, what? Okay. And so things had already been happening since I got there, and I saw a man with my third eye, and so I saw this kind of a cowboy guy, and he's like, what? And the owner thought that there was another person in the hotel with me. He's like, well, describe him. What did he look like? And so I started describing him. Yeah, he was kind of a creepy guy, and I described his face and his hat and his clothes and everything, and it's like he was just looking at me like, who is that down there? And the owner's face just kind of fell, and he got very pale, and he goes, I've seen that guy. Oh, okay. Woo, score for me, So, things just kept happening, as the night went on, it got more and more tense. And so you have to buy the book if you want to read the rest of the stories. But, it was like ghost hunting 101. They're like, okay, we're going to giggle. It didn't scare her. Let's try something else. Let's lock her in the cabinet. Oh, well, she didn't get scared. Let's put an apparition in front of her. Well, she looked out the window and pretended not to be scared, but she stayed there. So, but let's face it, it was like 32 degrees outside. I wasn't going to go out, because I'm barefoot. Where am I going to go? So I stayed in the hotel all night long, and then there was just things that happened. I did not get any sleep. It was everything from the bed was shaking. Oh, the haunted bride room. That's where I forgot to tell you. It
The
was a
haunted what?
beautiful, the haunted bride room, which was the room I was staying in, has a bed, and the headboard was probably 12 feet high. It's just this beautiful, beautiful old mahogany bed. And the story goes that, sorry, I forgot the lady's name, but she was jilted on her wedding day, and so she hung herself in the top of the bed. And so the bed shakes and stuff, and so I was having a
God.
nice, it was having so much fun, it was girls' night. I mean, the little girl goes from across the hall, came over, and she was talking to me. And so when I'd go back and I tell the owner, he's like, I can't believe you saw her. I'm like, well, yeah. And I was describing everybody and, just telling him about all my experiences. And he's like, oh my God. So I got back to the room and I was calling a friend of mine because he said, check in when you get there. So I called him and said, oh my God, you won't believe. And then this happened. And then the doll giggled. And then I saw this man's ghost. And he's like, okay, you just need to go sit down, go write a book. I'm like, okay, I have nothing else going on right now. Because, I'm job hunting. So I wrote a book. And then it got published. Go figure.
Wow. That, I've been to places, dolls, man, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. Dolls or clowns, no friggin' way. And what is this? It's you said something about a staircase, a hidden staircase?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a beautiful hotel. And there's so many antiques down there. And the first floor looks like a real hotel with, antique beds and fine furnishings and fireplaces. And then upstairs, it's a little theme, like there's specific themes for each room. So I was going around downstairs and there's this beautiful double door armoire that's recessed into the wall. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to look in here. There's probably extra blankets or something. So I opened the door up and there's a staircase. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I stepped in and closed the door and started going up the stairs. And then I realized, oh, I'm claustrophobic. So anyway, it comes out through a trap door upstairs in the bootlegger's room. So I mean, it was just a lot of fun. It's a great hotel. I love going there, and that's where the Paracon is going to be in November that I'm going to. We're all going back to Jefferson.
Wow. I just Todd says books. He perks up. I like books. I bought about 50 books at the Michigan Paracon this year. I had to buy another rolling suitcase for them. So I asked him if you're going to be there at the time that if he's going to go back and see you, if he's going to stop up there, that would be nice if he did. Todd, super, super great guy. Super great guy. If you want to hear stories, this dude, probably, he says, it's the best multiple day paranormal event I've been to so far. Lots of different varieties of woo woo.
Yes,
Okay.
the woo woo. Yeah.
What's the woo woo?
I live in the woo woo. I actually moved to a haunted town so I could live in the woo woo. The woo woo is accepted here. Most people. I was actually at a library function last week where you could do arts and crafts for fall, and the lady asked, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I live in the woo woo. I write books." She goes, "You live in the woo woo?" And so I handed her my card, and it said, paranormal radio host. And she's like, "Paranormal? You like that stuff?" I'm like, "Well," and that's all she said.
That's so funny the way you put that, because when the TV show comes out that Steph and I were in, people, they'll look at me kind of funny, and they're like, at the liquor store I work at, and they're like, "Were you on TV?" It's like, yeah, what were you on? I said, "Well, I've been on the news a couple of times." I've been on something else, I said, "Well, it was a paranormal show." "You into that stuff?" And it's like, it's just hilarious. Those people, they stick around, they find a place to sit, and they sit there and talking. And my boss will come up and look at me, shake my head, and go back downstairs again, because he knows everything's handled up and stuff, and I'm keeping everybody entertained. But yeah, I've never heard of varieties of woo woo.
Oh, yes. How have you not heard that? The woo woo is basically everything metaphysical and paranormal rolled up into a ball of goodness and dipped in chocolate. Now, it's the woo woo. It's the
Well, I'll be
euphoria.
darned.
It's a
Okay,
euphoria.
anybody in the chat room, have you guys heard of the woo woo? If you could, answer back and let me know. I know we're a little delay here, like 5 to 7 seconds, but I'm just curious. I have never heard that in all the years in the paranormal. I've never heard of the woo woo.
Well, it's a very common phrase down here.
Gotcha. Todd says, think of the woo woo as a catch-all term for all the weird paranormal and fringe stuff.
Yeah. I was, I'm an ambassador for the Texas Renaissance Festival. So one of the things I do is I go in garb, and I represent, it's the ambassadors are the embodiment of the spirit of the Renaissance Festival. So we're basically like goodwill ambassadors. So I was with a friend, and I had seriously, probably if you count bodices and garters and coats and everything, I probably had like 7 or 8 layers of clothing on. And it was hot, and so we get back to the trailer and stop looking at me like that. So, I'm getting the leather off. We have leather belts and everything. So I'm taking all this off, and it was hot. It was probably still in the hundreds. And, we were like standing in front of the air conditioning trying to cool off. And so I got my belts off and got the hat off, and I got my outer coat off, and I'm still fully clothed, 3 layers are gone. And so I said, I got to take my shoes off. So I bent over and I was taking my boots off. And when I bent over, and we were in a very small Airstream trailer that had been refurbished. So she was sitting on the futon, and I was standing, because only one person at a time can stand up. And so I was standing up trying to get my boots off, and something poked me in the butt. And my head was facing her, so there was nobody behind me. And I kind of stood up and I looked at her, and she's like, what? I was like, did you just poke me in the butt? She said, well, no. I'm like, okay. And as I was looking at her and talking to her, there was an Afghan on the back of the futon. And I swear, I kid you not, it looked like a finger went underneath the Afghan and raised up, and then it flipped it over on her shoulder. And we just kind of looked at each other, and I said, well, that just happened, huh? And she's like, well, yeah, I guess it did. So that's a perfect example of the woo-woo. It's not like, let me get my EMF out and, try and contact and get an EVP or anything like that. It's like you've embraced the uniqueness of the paranormal life. It's just part of life.
Huh. Okay, so even Stephanie says, yes, we call it the woo factor.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve said, I never heard of woo woo either. I said, are we normal, Steve, or only slightly paranormal? Weird. Woo woo. I'll be darned. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. So, gotcha. So have you gone to a lot of different places out there?
To like investigate or hang out or?
Right.
Oh,
Either or.
Usually brothels, but you don't have to go to haunted venues. Oh, hush.
What? I didn't say nothing. I just gave you that look like, okay, you hang out at brothels. Okay, that's what they call them in Texas.
Yeah. Isn't that what they call them?
And you hang out at them.
Well, they're no longer active. They're active, but they're not active.
They're active, but they're not active.
They're paranormally active.
Okay.
Instead of going to an asylum, there is a jail across the street we go to sometimes. But yeah, people have gone to historically brothels for fun and entertainment, and those are like really the best places to investigate because there's still that level of activity. Use that term loosely.
Right.
You see a lot of shadow people there. I mean, you pick up a lot of energies. I've gotten some really great pictures of cowboys there. There's this one in particular we go to. It's out in West Texas, and a couple of times we've gone and dressed up, in period clothing, basically looking like a call girl, and so it amps up the activity so much more, and it's just crazy. But, they're fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I seen you once on some stuff dressed up as a pirate. Now you do a lot of pirate pirate stuff. I know that for sure.
Yeah, that's part of the Renaissance Festival. This weekend is Pirate Weekend at the Texas Renaissance Festival.
Oh, and of course you're going to be going.
Yeah.
No.
No, I live too far away, unfortunately.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, was there usually one near you or something?
Yeah, I was living down in Houston at that time.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, you lived down in Houston back in 2019 then.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's coming to me now. It's coming to me. All right. So we're going to go on break, everybody. We'll be right back with Victoria Mundae in about 2 minutes. Along with Victoria Mundae of Texas. She talked like that too, and she chose snooze. She got rid of it finally, so she'll probably sound different. But anyway, hey, so if you guys are looking for a place to check out paraxradionetwork.com. Tons and tons of shows right after us. Like I always tell you guys, every week there is Exploring the Paranormal with I forgot her name. I was doing so well there. Oh, that girl, Shauna. So check it out. You're going to love it. And of course, on Tuesday nights, I always listen to The Gathering with Stephanie and Heidi. That's at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, only on paraxradionetwork.com. And tomorrow also you can listen to our show. We have it in 2 spots. We have it on thecallingradioshow.com, and we also have it on the Calling 2.0 radio show, which is on YouTube, and that's the video portion of it. So check it out, especially if you're wondering, what happened in the first time? How did Jerry do a really bad job? Then, well, there's all the answers will be known. So, okay, so let's get back. And you guys, again, V had to take some time off. She will be back. She's just, taking care of that dog for, those dogs in that house for a month, and then driving all the way back, and then her car and everything. She needs to deal with a few things first before she's back. So let's all send her some love and some healing and all that good stuff. All right. So, Victoria, can I call you Victoria?
Yes, please.
Okay. I already found out that I called you a name you did not like, and I did not know that. So I feel really bad. So, okay. So you sent me. Now you do poetry also.
Yeah, that's a new thing. I'm trying.
That's the what?
That's a new thing. I'm trying stuff. I originally started just putting. I have a Facebook page for my business book, if you want to call it that. It's just Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activity. And I thought, it's October. I like poetry. I'm just going to stick a poem out there and a new picture that I do every day. And it's gotten a lot of really nice reception. I was like, well, what the heck? I'm just going to do a Kindle Vella and put 2 poems out a week. So.
Right. Well, let's see here. I'm trying to find. There it is right here. So I was going through Amazon and I found your book, The Haunted Muse by Victoria Mundae. Gave it a thumbs up, of course. It was awesome. But you got some poetry in here I really like. The one that I like the most is in this keening, a raven's cry betrays the trust that once did lie. For in the darkness, truth revealed, fair weathered friends, their bonds repealed. That little part right there was really awesome. I really like that.
It's been a rough month, and that was directed towards someone, but I don't think they got it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But that's okay.
Gotcha.
Move forward.
Move forward. Okay.
Yeah.
So another one, yet in this chamber's eerie glow, a deeper friendships in the tomb. Though graveyards black, our spirits roam, true bonds endure in death and home.
I have
What
some
is
really, really good friends. I had to move away from them when I moved up here. And even though, we're 6 hours apart, we talk every day. We send messages every day. They are my bestest friends in the whole wide world. and I know they will always be there in my bleak black graveyard of a life.
Oh my God.
So they're always there, no matter which leaves are blowing or what dust devil is kicking up.
Gotcha. Well, this is really good stuff, and this is episode 1, The Autumn Leaves. You guys should check out this book. Now, before I forget, because I forget a lot, with your website is Victoria. Oh shoot, hold on here.
Not Vicky.
Not Vicky. No.
No.
www.victoria.
MUN.
Gosh darn it, Victoria Mundae.
Yep. .com.
.com.
Yeah, there's some little snippets from Edge of the Rabbit Hole, from old shows. There's some investigations I've been on, little videos, and then there's a page that has the majority of my books. I don't think they're all on there anymore.
Gotcha. So now with this here, there you are. Okay. Your coloring book and all that stuff, which is going to be put in there too, right? All that stuff.
I think it's on there. There's one that should say something like books. There's a little menu you can go to. And it should be the last book listed because I'm just adding them as I go. And, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Victoria, Paranormal Activities.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
So,
Oh, that's the puzzles and
yeah.
all that
That
stuff.
started
Okay.
with, I was chit-chatting with a young man, not a young man, with a man who I was interested in potentially maybe kind of almost going out with, you're in that talking stage. And he asked me, like, well, what do you like to do? And I'm like, oh, crap. You just don't tell people paranormal because Texas, they run off on you. It's like, oh, I like movies. I like pizza. He's like, okay, what do you like? And I'm like, oh, walking and hiking. He's like, what do you really like to do for fun? I was like, okay, I go to haunted brothels and I talk to dead people. He's like, what? You do what? So I told him, I go to haunted brothels. I talk to dead people. We have conversations all the time. And so I started telling him some of the stories, some of the things I've done. He's like, oh my God, you need to write a book. And my philosophy is there's nothing scary because the mindset that you go in is what you manifest or what you see. If you go in thinking that you're going to be pushed down the stairs, then you are going to be pushed down the stairs. It's almost like you're manifesting a tulpa. If you go in expecting that the brothel is going to be fun and light, then you're going to have fun and light there. If you're expecting to be thrown out of the chair in the back room, then you're going to be thrown out of the chair in the back room. And so I told him, I was like, I don't see any darkness. I mean, I choose not to see the darkness. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Write a book and call it Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activities and make it a coloring book? I started thinking, hey, I'm going to make a paranormal activity book. So everything in there, are pages to color, things you can learn, puzzles, games, word searches, word crosswords. It's all related to the paranormal. So I have 6 of those for adults and kids. And then I did the newest one. It's called Tarot Reimagined. And I took my favorite tarot cards and reimagined them through the eyes of the divine feminine. So it's no longer the little naked ladies running around in, Bible times or whatever the tarot deck looks like. These are more of Art Nouveau, Art Deco type drawings. And then there describes the card, how it's traditionally seen, what it means when it's upright, what it means when it's reversed, and the way I see it. So I was telling you earlier, like the 3 of Cups is traditionally it's 3 women dancing around with a cup. I don't see it that way. I see it with 3 women going, yeah, I'll kick your ass. They are strong. They are empowered women. They don't need no cup. They're drinking straight from the bottle, So,
oh my God.
So put a straw in that. They're strong women. Reimagine like it. But the picture is very lovely.
Gotcha.
The divine feminine's coming back. So.
Right. So curiosity, how can you buy your books?
Most of them are on Amazon. My Night in the Most Haunted Hotel in Texas is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And I think there were some others like Abe books I've seen. I Googled myself the other day just for grins to see, like, where are my books coming up at? There's people in Denmark selling my books. I don't know how they have them, but
Oh, wow. Well,
you can
that's
buy
pretty
them.
cool.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but more power to them.
So that's right. I forgot. We used to call you Paranormal Perfect Storm,
Right.
and that was in 2019.
Yeah. Still
Did I
learning.
come up with that phrase, or did you?
some of my friends did, because my mom's side
Oh.
was very intuitive. My dad's side comes from is of German descent, and they actually have Romanian gypsies in their bloodline. So that was the perfect storm, was when the two sides got together, had a little convection cell, to kind of rain, drizzle, a little high pressure.
Gotcha. So let's see now. She's also been profiled in the book A Walk in Shadows and in the TV miniseries, The Shadow Dimensions. What's that all about? You have a miniseries out?
No, it's not me. It's my the other host. I do Edge of the Rabbit Hole on Wednesdays. It's another podcast. Sorry.
That's okay.
We'll be on next Wednesday at 7. In case you want to, split your screen and watch both.
Well, where is it? What are you on next week?
It's mainly on Facebook. It's also on Mike Ricksecker's YouTube page. And then if you want the replays, it's on every platform you can think of, like, Spotify and iHeart something or another. It's on everything you can think of.
Gotcha. Now, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, not really. I tried, but it's too much work.
Oh my gosh, it's the easiest thing in the world.
You have to think of things to do. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
busy I'm making coloring books. I don't.
Well, that's cool. That's a lot easier than what I could do, I tell you. So that's pretty cool. Well, you're doing well. You're doing okay. That's good. I was, I didn't know what all that you did, and I'm very surprised. Good for you, Victoria. We have not talked in such a long time,
I know.
and this is good of everything that you've done.
Well, thank you. Well, you remember how this started, right? You found me on Twitter. I was
That's right.
twittering my thumbs. I'm like, come on my podcast. I'm like, well, I am a nobody. Why do you want me on your podcast? So
well, you weren't a nobody, because that's one thing that I think people really like. I mean, sure, there's the big stars and stuff like that, but you can get full of them by just watching them for a couple of weeks. You can get a full of what they are, but it's kind of fun to get, which I've always liked, and I've always done, even at the beginning of my that Para X has had me on, was to have people that just people have a story too.
Oh, yeah.
People that are not great big stars and stuff, and we've had some really good shows. And you were really good the last time that we had you on. And it was so weird that I thought about you the other day when Valentina told me that she's not going to be able to make it. And I'm like, oh, crud. And then I started thinking, well, maybe it's time that I do it myself. And then I looked in the mirror and went, you're an idiot. That ain't going to happen, buddy. You got to, it's tough doing it by yourself.
Exactly.
It's really tough. I mean, oof,
But you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And so are you. You're doing really good. I mean, since 2019, you've come a long way in the paranormal world. Now, didn't you used to do some investigations with people in different places, and then you'd have, what do you call those? I call them paranormal vacations. And that's where people will say, oh, we're going to go to the Edinburgh house. And, they're charging $50 or $100 per person. Why don't you come with us? It's like, no, I call those paranormal vacations. But yeah. Do you still do that?
I did that for a while. But how can I say this and be nice?
And be nice?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, I
do my own thing. So, I have learned how
Right.
to do remote drawing. I see things, I write them down, and then I realized that, okay, for example, we went to this one beautiful Victorian house. It was unfortunately a murder-suicide house. And I was going to go up the back stairs, and I stopped and said, whoop, nope, There's a lady in black, and she's walking down the stairs. And I turned around, and I went the other way. I'm not going to cross her. But when they got their pictures back, 3 weeks later, they're going, oh my God, look, there's a lady in black on the stairs. I'm like, well, I told you there was. And I'm like, well, we don't remember that. So, like, okay, nobody remembers what I say. So I've started drawing it down, or sketching it out and drawing it. So when they come back and say, okay, there's a black, figure on the staircase, I'm like, oh, you mean like this? And I'll flip open my sketchbook. Is this the one you saw? And so, yeah, maybe that's a jerk move, but now that people,
that's not a jerk move whatsoever. I mean, that's pretty good. That's as long as you don't make the faces like Amy Allen used to do all the time.
I don't know who Amy Allen is. I'm sorry.
You don't? You really?
I don't watch TV.
Okay, yeah, you and I are the same then. I don't like to watch those different shows, but when I did, there was always what was it called? The Dead Files.
Oh, okay, I know the
Yeah,
show.
and when she would talk about the thing, she would sit there and contort her face different, and it was like, seriously, what the heck is this?
No, I just do it to be a jerk.
Oh,
But, I see these things, and I tell people, and then I guess they're caught up in the euphoria of the investigation, and whatever I say just kind of goes in one ear, not the other. But they have all their equipment and everything, and their cat balls, which is a big pet peeve of mine.
why?
I'm going to PetSmart. Do you need any more, paranormal equipment? There's some, little catnip things that look like a planchette. Do you need it for your Ouija board? But I mean, if I was a ghost, I'm not going to come back and play with some cat balls. I mean, I would try to establish communication, and try and talk. I'm not going to knock on the wood. But that's just my thing. So when I would go with friends, I would let them go and do their thing because I don't want to spoil their fun. You put the cat balls out, you put your little REM pods out and stuff, and you go do your thing, and I'm over here sketching. And then we'll convene later and go to Denny's or something.
Go to Denny's.
Isn't that what you do afterwards?
We used to, not anymore, but it was Perkins. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh yeah, never Perkins. We had those in Arizona. So they go do their things, and then I would go do my thing, and then we would meet up, and that's kind of dissipated, very ethereal. It's kind of gone in the wind. But I live in a house that's active, so I can just go in the kitchen. I don't really have to go anywhere.
Oh, the house that you live in right now?
Yeah.
Is what's the deal? What's going on there?
Well, when I first moved in, oh my God, that's a really long story. But the first thing I realized is I was doing ITC with the smoke alarms, because the smoke alarms were going off, and there was no reason why. And the fire department came. I thought the house was on fire, and it wasn't. They left, and so for like 2 hours, the smoke alarm would go chip, chip, chip. Every time I'd ask a question, I was like, "Are you my husband?" Be nothing. I was like, "Okay, did you used to live here?" Chip, chip, chip. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, I don't know of anyone else who was doing smoke alarm ITC, but yeah, I see shadow figures here all the time. My dad, I told you, died a few years ago, and since January, I've seen him here 6 times. He's usually walking around in the backyard, but I have a camera that's in the garage, and something was going on. I can't remember what was happening, but I just happened to look on the camera because what's going on out there, and you could see him walking back and forth behind my car. And so for about probably a good 12 hours, there was some sort of illuminated orb, if you want to call it, and it would go from the back of my car to the front, the back of the car to the front, like it was going to the trunk to the engine, trunk to the engine. It's got to be a bug out there. So I go out there and I look, there's no bug. Open the doors, close the doors, turn the lights on, turns the lights off. But it just kept doing that for 12 hours. And at one time, I actually went out there and I opened up the garage door real quick, and the little orby thing was over by the passenger or the driver's side, and it went across the garage, and it was kind of hiding back behind a chair.
Wow.
And I went out there and I couldn't see anything. You know, there was no bug. I didn't see anything. And then when the garage door closed, it waited a few minutes and then it just kind of drifted back over to the car door. And I was like, okay, that's such a dad thing to do, is check on the car. You know, it's like, the car's fine. You know, so, but things like that happen all the time. There's usually shadows. They're walking around and think, well, and I was talking to Andrea Perrin one time, and she's like, well, you know, a lot of shadows or entities or whatever that are crossing by or crossing through are attracted to light. And so if you project light and happiness and goodness and a safe place, they'll come and they'll be attracted to you because they know they can. It's like a halfway house, I guess. You know, a paranormal halfway house. You know, come in, make a sandwich, have a seat, you know, then go on your way. So, it's like that.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, when I first moved in, I kept hearing this knocking. It was always a free knock, 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 knock. And I'm like, okay, it's the house settling. And I had a friend come up for one weekend, and he goes, I just heard some knocking in that room. I'm like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. And in a set of three, like, it's the house settling, right? And he's like, no, it's not the house settling. Like, oh, I hear that all the time. And, you know, I hear doors slam. I'm here alone. I have the entire house, so there's no reason the door should be slamming, you know. I don't know. What can I say?
Right. And Steve B saying, be careful, be real careful about accepting into your home any spirits. Not all are good. That is true. That's definitely true. Yeah.
And I put a barrier up saying only love and light can come into this house, you know, for only things in my highest interest. People who
Right. We did over the weekend, we did a walkthrough of a house that a suicide had happened in. And I didn't want to know anything about where it is. And I wouldn't tell any of my team members what happened there or anything. And I asked them to go through the house and then write down on a piece of paper, you know, what had happened. So we all went marching on through and stuff. And I knew what happened there, but I didn't know which room it was. And I walked into this room, and it was like somebody smashed me in my chest, and it really hurt. So I went downstairs, and I'm just walking around, still not saying anything. And then I remember Nikki, I think, went in there first, and she come on out and she's writing down stuff like crazy. And then Nicole was the last one to go in. I do have a Nikki and a Nicole, and she felt the same thing, like somebody smashed her. And I said, so what do you guys think? They said, something happened in that room up there, because it was like somebody pounded me in the chest. And I said, what do you think it is? And they're like, you know, I don't know. And then Nicole says, I really feel it was a suicide. And I said, you're right. And then we let the owner tell us about what had happened and stuff in this place. And it was quite amazing. The whole thing's not done yet. So I'm actually, they said that I can play the EVPs, because we did find some EVPs, and we'll be playing that on a future show. So nice. I'm not going to put it out there yet, but yeah, some of this, you know, being in this, doing this, this paranormal stuff is really wild. I mean, there's so many people that are dead set against, you know, what we find and stuff, you know, but yet it is real. You're living with it right now. You went to a place that, and you know, you are very brave to go and stay in that hotel by yourself, because I would not have. As a matter of fact, Stephanie and I and Nicole went to a place, and something happened in that place. We were using a SLS, which I think they're junk, but you know, they're kind of cool looking. And Stephanie, she just said, this is it. Nope, I am not going to sleep in my own room. We're all going to sleep in the same room together. And we did. She was so funny, because she's like, Jerry, you sleep in that bed. Nicole and I are going to sleep in this bed right here. It's like, oh, okay. You know, but then some things happen but we're not
Yeah.
going to talk about that. Let's see. Todd's saying cat balls are just a cheap, easy to use ITC device. There isn't much difference between using them and an old school flashlight technique. That is true, actually.
True. I don't use either one. But,
Yeah. We bought a dozen from Amazon, and when we got them, 3 worked.
Hmm.
And after 2 investigations, 1 only worked. But when I put it in my bag, I must have hit the switch on it. So when we really needed it, nothing worked. And you can't replace the batteries.
No,
You
but
just
what if
have.
you're, yeah, I'm sorry. What if you're creating a tulpa? Like you have all your collective energy focused on this cat ball and you want to see it move because you want somebody to touch it. And that's what you're actually doing is you're manifesting that energy. That's why I don't put a lot of stock in that. Something like an EVP. Oh yeah, I believe in that. You know, dowsing rods. I'm 50-50 on those. But I think we manifest a lot of the paranormal stuff. You know, like 6 or 7 team members or investigators are wanting something to happen, and then it happens.
True. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. That's why you got to keep the team low and make sure that everybody knows what's happening. Well, this is the end of the show, Victoria Mundae.com. So thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that was listening to the show tonight. And thanks to the troops. If you're out there listening, stay safe. And we'll see you all next week. All right.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
that
so
was
much.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on, you know.
Oh, no, thanks for
This
having
is
me.
great.
See you in 4 years.
No, we'll do this a little. Hold on here.